Hello, welcome or welcome back. And it's high time I post this December 2025 wrap up so I can work on my year end wrap up video. And here we go. So, December turned out really good last month of 2025, even though I full on embraced mood reading and ditched all my plans or what I wanted to read or everything other in a life, and it turned out really good because I could hit 100 books by the year end. I finished my 80 books Goodreads challenge by October end, and still wanted to see if I could hit 100, and I could do that by the month end. So yes, in doing that, I ignored my blog, ignored YouTube, and even Instagram, and was fully focusing on reading books. And yes, I could not finish full novels in the last week of the December, and I needed to read, I think, two or three books to hit that 100. So I put aside the books I planned to read by the year end and started reading short books and novellas, and I don't regret it. First book of the December was On the Earth We Are Beautifully Gorgeous, and this is part memoir, part fiction, told as letter from main character Little Dog to his mother who cannot read or speak English. Through these letters, he talks about immigration, survival, generational trauma, and violence. Everybody said this was a sad story, and yes, it is sad, but it didn't left me sobbing. But I can say that it is a kind of a sad story that leaves you speechless, stunned, staring at the wall, ruminating over everything you have read. It is that kind of a story. Overall, On the Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous is a beautifully layered, haunting LGBTQ literary fiction that is about identity, survival, and fragile beauty of being alive in this cruel world. I really enjoyed this. Next, I read Storybook Ending. This is a character-driven contemporary that is set in a bookstore and follows life of three characters, Laura, April, and Wesley, whose life gets tangled because of the notes left in between books in this bookstore. And what started as a simple, whimsical, something small, and it grows into a series of misunderstanding. The book heavily leans on characters' loneliness, connection, and second chances, and of course, misunderstanding. It definitely tested my patience at many places, but if you enjoy quiet stories of ordinary people who finds their happy ending, or in this case, storybook ending, this is for you. Next, I read Seven Deadly Thorns. By the way, this and also Storybook Ending both were sent to me by Bloomsbury. Many thanks to Bloomsbury for sending this review copies. And now coming back to Seven Deadly Thorns. This is marketed as a Cruel Prince meets Powerless. I haven't read Powerless, but I can say this has a Cruel Prince vibe, along with the Sleeping Beauty and Snow White vibe in the dark academic setting. I really loved the writing in this, pacing. The concept was just amazing. Here, we follow story of two main characters, Viola and Rose. Viola is a academic prefect, and she's very brilliant and smart, but she have dark magic, and magic in this kingdom is death sentence. And the queen finds out that Viola have a magic, so she sends her best assassin, and that is also a prince, Rose. And Rose, instead of killing her, makes deals with her. Rose is given seven thorn tattoo that indicates he have a 7 days deadline to kill Viola. If he doesn't, he dies. I loved how author divided the whole story into seven different parts, indicating us each seven deadly tones, and the way the beginning of the section was written in a fairy style manner, it was really amazing, and I really loved it. It definitely gave the hint on what might be coming in that section, which could be predictable, but still there are plenty of twists and turns that left me surprising and shocking. As for the end, while the villain is defeated in this book, and the end is open ending, and epilogue that was given in the end was not enough. It was very brief, and it didn't give all the answers to questions I had in the book, and there is no indication if there will be a follow up of this main characters in the same world. So if that doesn't happen, if I don't get all the answers, I think that ruins my experience with the book. But otherwise, except the ending, I really enjoyed this book. Next, I read Dr. Digging Jones. This is a fun, adventurous rom com that involves Adriana Jones, who receives bracelet that was meant for Andrew Jones, who is chasing the long lost treasure of a pirate. It gets Adriana swept into the treasure hunting, which not just gives her adventure, but also can solve her money issue and help her in achieving her dream. So, what started as just a treasure hunt ends up into the matter of heart. The treasure hunting is very engaging. It involves, of course, close proximity, going through the graveyard, solving the puzzle, finding caves that might have treasure, and going through the jungle. I feel middle part of this book was a bit dragging, and Adriana's insecurity often tested my patience. But otherwise, this was really good, fun, adventurous, and it definitely had Indiana Jones vibe. So if you enjoy those kind of stories, read this. So I was thinking to read Dreamland Billionaire series in a December, but I did not start it. One reason was that because I did not read any single holiday read so far, so I had to read at least one, and so I decided to start London Unlimited Hideaway Harbor holiday series, and I read two books in that series. First was The Holiday Hate Off. Holiday Hate Off was utterly charming. It was a kind of a book that sneaks up on you and makes you smile and laugh and feel the genuine warmth. Lucy and Enjo are the characters you can root for. So are the side characters and the Hideaway Harbor small town. Everything, the banter and holiday chaos, it was all so perfectly written in this book. If you want cozy, emotionally satisfying, and unapologetically fun holiday romance, this is for you. I highly recommend it. Second was The Holiday Fakers. This is another. This was also cozy, warm, and lovely holiday romance, but it definitely lacked the magic the first book had. I didn't like the main character that much, but side characters, the small town hideaway harbor, the holiday activities and chaos and fun, it was all same, and I really enjoyed that part in this book. While I could not finish the entire series in 2025, but I will be definitely continuing the series in 2026, probably around October, so I can read all the books because there are total six. I read two, so there are four books remain in this series, and I am definitely reading it. So in a last 1 or 2 week, I read all the short books and novellas, and one of that was Queen of Water. This is a middle grade retelling of a princess from medieval India. It's a story of Kundavi, princess of Chola Empire. It's called Sosha, by the way, princess of Shoja Empire, and she refused to be just a decorative princess and refused to marry for political convenience. She carved her own path. She learned everything her brothers learned, and she helped her brother strengthen the kingdom after tragedy strikes her family. This tells the story of a princess that gives the powerful reminder that women have been reshaping the history for a long time, even though their story was not sung as loudly as they should have. It's just amazing book, and I highly recommend it. This is, I think, a fifth book in the Queen series. All the books in the series are standalone, and there are previously four books published that also tells the story of women from history from the different parts of India. Next, I read The Egghead Detective Agency Volume 2. This is a second book in the series. I haven't read first book, so I can definitely say this can be read standalone because author perfectly introduces the characters and all the stories in this book takes place in the Emerald Garden. There is a very beautiful map, a layout of the apartment setting, and this is basically collection of mysteries for middle grade readers. I really loved how author introduces characters, side characters, even the ghost detective who is attached to an armchair and helps main characters Antara and Tamara to solve different cases that are happening in their apartment. Along with the five main mysteries of the book, there is ongoing mystery of where that ghost detective came from, how that his chair ended up in main character's house, and it was really good. Best part of this book is how it makes kids very curious, gives a hints throughout the stories so that kids can solve the cases on their own and so that they can also wear that detective hat. So yes, it's engaging, clever, and very age appropriate. And the last was Home Sweet Holidays novella series I read. There are total four novellas in this series. Each were 50 to 70 pages long and took place in during Christmas. And what I loved the most in this is how all authors in this novellas pack so much from character, their introduction to families and traditions, loss, insecurities, giving love second chance. It was all really well written in just few pages. First novella in the series was No Place Like Home, and this follows story of Goldie and Ace with the best friend's sister and brother's best friend trope. Also, childhood crush to lovers, and this was really lovely, warm, a bit familiar and predictable, but a solid series opener. Next was Mary and Bright. In this, Miriam and Carl meets on the plane on their way to their hometown, and they start talking and they like each other and they decides they need help of each other to go through the holidays. What I loved most in this is knowing more about Hanukkah tradition. I didn't know anything about it, and I loved how through these characters and even in just a few pages, I got to know about that holiday more. It had a fake dating trope, by the way, and it was my most favorite in this series. Next was All Wrapped Up. This follows story of Piper and Scott. Both are neighbors. They both are in contact with each other through text, but they do not know each other's identity. They don't know their names. They don't haven't seen each other, but they have met outside their apartment and their life, and when they it was amazing to see when and how they will figure out that they are already neighbors and know each other. So it was a really cute, lovely story, and I really enjoyed it. And last in Home Sweet Holidays was You Better Not Pout. This follows story of Juliana and Eric. They recently broke their engagement but haven't told their family, and they did not want to break a heart of the family. So just for the Christmas, they decide to stay engaged and pretend they are still in love. During the Christmas, they finally figure out the root cause of their broken relationship and decides not to break the engagement and give each other and their relationship another chance, which was really lovely. So that's it. December wasn't loud or flashy, but it quietly wrapped my 2025, and I really like that. Let me know in the comments what was your favorite book in December 2025 and what are your plans for 2026. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that hype button. And we will meet once again with a yearly wrap up. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it, but let's just see. See ya.